Hello, we're going to take a look at how to grade activities within your Moodle course. We're going to look specifically at quizzes, forums, and assignments in this video. Now keep in mind when we're talking about grading, there are two different ways to grade items within a Moodle course. One is through the item view and the other is through the gradebook. So in this video we're going to look at the item view, and then in the next video we'll look at the gradebook. Alright, so I have my course here. And we're going to go ahead and go into a forum. Got one right here. And this forum has been set up to have 10 points. Remember, forums, they call those ratings. And you have a lot of control over how you set up your ratings. If you want it so that just the teacher is rated, that's the default. You can have it so students rate other students if you'd like as well. You can have it so that the points are optional or what have you. So in this case, I've got it set up so this is worth 10 points. And if I want to, I can go in, I can find a post. I've got it set up so it'll take the maximum rating. So it's not going to take an average of all the different posts. Basically, if Amy in this case created many different posts, and I went through them all and I found this one to be the best, I'll give it a 10. Then that means that she's going to get a 10 regardless of what she gets for her other scores. Okay. Now this one will go ahead and now be put into the gradebook there. If you have it set up so that you have multiple raters, again, the maximum rating would take the top score, in this case the 10. If it had the average rating, it would average those together. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and take that off. Now, I mentioned that you could go into the forum directly and do that. With all items, you can also go into the gradebook. So in our Moodle setup, you go under this course to grades. And if you haven't seen the gradebook before, you want to make sure you're in the grader report. And then you just simply click on the title of that category. So it shows you the grades, and I could go here, and that takes me to the actual forum. So two ways to get into the item view, either through the item itself or through the gradebook. Next item we're going to look at is quizzes. Okay, so quizzes will go and calculate the scores themselves typically. You can put in things like essays or other items in there to go and to do that as well. I've got a quiz set up here, and I'm going to go ahead and click on the item to get into the item view. And so unlike for forums, this is going to go ahead and show all of the responses that people have done for this particular quiz. Now this is a practice quiz, so they have as many chances as they'd like to go and get the score. As you can see, it'll list the participant, when they started and completed it, what their grade was, and then it also will show you the item view. And I can click on each individual one and see specifically what she had put for that answer. Now keep in mind, some answers can be set up to have partial credit, as this one has. That's what the yellow check means. They got some of the parts right. This happens to be a matching one with where they match places in a picture. Okay. Now from here, there's some more sophisticated things you can do. They're a little beyond the scope of this video. You can go in, you can delete different attempts if you would like. You can go in and see the overall percentage and ranges of scores. The information is kept down here. You can, if you change different items within the quiz, let's say on answer 3 you had the wrong answer placed in there, and so you went and changed it in the quiz, it doesn't automatically change the grade. So you would have to go in here and click regrade attempts. And you can regrade just a few of them. You can click a few, or you can select all. You can also override scores. So let's say on this one he missed it, but that was because of a computer error. And I could go in and I could make a comment directly here, or I could override the mark and give him a point for that. Okay. All right, now we're going to take a look at assignments. And to do this, I'm going to go to a different course, one that actually has assignments set up. Now, assignments have lots of different types of things that you can do for submission. So you can submit, for example, a document that you upload. You can have an online text assignment where the student would write their response right there, or you can have it be an offline assignment, which is basically something that the student isn't submitting through Moodle. You might observe them in the blended portion, the face-to-face portion of your blended course, for example. All right, I have several assignments. We're going to go through the grade book like we did before. I'm going to click on this one here. When you go into an item view of an assignment, as a teacher you're going to see it say View Grade All Submissions. Now depending on the version of Moodle you have, this link might be up in the corner. Newer versions though put it down here after kind of a grading summary. And this will say how many people need grading. Click here. Now this is the item view for this assignment. You can see it'll list the different students in the class. It'll say what the status is, whether they've turned it in or not. And then you can go in and submit your grade. I can submit it here because I have an item called Quick Grading on. Quick Grading you'll see down here under the options is checked. If I uncheck that, I wouldn't be able to put that in right here. This makes it a lot faster, so if it's something that I don't really need to analyze very closely, it's just something that, oh, you turn it in, I'm going to give you the points, I could do that. I could click here and type in the 10 points and such. Now once I do that, you'll see it highlights here. That basically has locked that, that score there. And to edit it, I'd have to go in. I can edit my grade. I can go in here. Let's say I put in 9. I can put in my feedback score, feedback comments. I can upload a file if you have it checked in your assignment that you allow files to be uploaded. You can also, in our system, record yourself through a plugin called Poodle. Again, that's if it is checked. If it's not checked, if you're not seeing it here, that means it's not checked in your assignment settings. And then finally, and this is important, do you want to notify the student once this has been submitted? Generally, good rule of thumb is yes. You do want to notify the student, that way they can see it. But there might be some situations where you'd want to say no, so you'd have to change that there. Now you see I've gone in, it's updated the scores. I can see that it's put in here the last time that was graded. Again, I can go in and put in my own comments. This particular assignment allows students to add in their comments as well. And those could be listed. Alright, so that's a quick look at how to do that. I want to show you one other thing, and I have that set up in this course. It happens to be a rubric. Now, this particular assignment didn't have a rubric, so we're going to go to one that does. If you haven't worked with rubrics before within Moodle, you'll want to check out our other Moodle moment that goes through that process. So here I have an assignment. This is one that's been submitted. Now you'll see here it says drafts, and I want to point out something. I'm going to click here to go and grade that. You see right now it is in draft form. The way we had set up this assignment is it does allow for drafts. It allows students to basically approve their submissions before before it's finalized. This is a way of a student saying, you know, I'm working on it, I've created, uploaded it, but I'm not ready for you to grade it per se. Sometimes this is confusing. A lot of times I recommend for teachers to not allow this, to take this off, because it's confusing otherwise. They think that they've submitted it, but they really haven't. It's in draft form. Now you can go ahead and grade it even if it's in draft form. That's the nice thing. However, I'm going to show you what that looks like on the student end. So here I am logged in as the student. I have uploaded my document, and I can edit that submission, but I haven't actually submitted the assignment. And that's where students struggle, is that they uploaded it and they see it uploaded and they think they're all done, but they haven't clicked this button to say that they submit assignment. Again, once you do this, and it'll prompt you here, you won't be able to make any other changes until the teacher goes in and says revert it back to draft form. Okay, now if I update my page, you can see now it's been submitted. It'll also tell you if it's late or not. This happens to be from an old course, so it looks like it's worse than it is. Since this was a file submission, I can download that file by clicking here. Again, I can go in and add comments, but I don't have the ability to do any quick grading here, and that's because it has a rubric set up with it. So I'm going to go ahead and do the full grading. You'll note here under Edit, you can go and grant an extension if it's late instead of grading it, or you can revert that back to that draft form. Alright, so I've gone in. Let's say I've downloaded it. Rubrics are set up very nice, so you can go and actually click on the items that you want to give points to. You can also give feedback for each of those different items. And if you haven't worked with Rubric, these are all criteria that you set up ahead of time. And this information was available to the student. They could see this when they looked at the assignment. They could see what they would be graded on. You can set it up so that students don't see what they'll be graded on as well if you'd like. Just like before, you can give overall feedback, you can record your voice, and you can notify students. The only addition here is that instead of just points, we're going ahead and putting it in via rubric form. Moodle will calculate the number of points and add that to the gradebook. There you see it. In all those situations, again, whether it's a quiz, a forum, or an assignment, not only have you added the scores here, but if we go and take a look at the grades for the course, it also adds them in here as well. Here's the other one. And that was a quick look at how to go and to grade assignments in Moodle.